Hey, Hickok 45 with an SVT-40. Yes. You're probably familiar with the 7.62 by 54R cartridge, a really powerful round, because many of you have a Mosin the gun, right? Just as I do. We're accustomed to firing these rounds in a bolt-action rifle. Good old Russian design. However, were you aware there was a semi-automatic rifle that would handle that round, the SVT-40 and the SVT-38. Let's take a couple shots. I'll demonstrate. Yeah. Oh, I see a water jug. Let's put one on the plate while we're at it. Maybe. Oh yeah, nice. Oh. No, it's just got a stiff trigger. Alright, the last one. Got him on there. Okay, yes. Hickok 45 with an SVT-40. And we're going to talk a little bit about it and shoot it some more. This is not mine. It was lent to me by a viewer. We certainly appreciate that because we've been wanting to get one of these here at the compound. Yes, in the 1930s, this was invented by guess who? Some guy that had something to do with a popular pistol. I believe his name was Tokarev. And that's one reason it's called the Tokarev SVT-40. Pretty sharp, aren't I? Yeah. And the 38, the SVT-38 was similar, but not quite as robust as this one. Had more problems with the 38. It was just improved in 1940, so that's why this is the SVT-40. A little bit sturdier, but I think essentially the same rifle. Now this one, I will take it apart a little bit and show you how to field strip it here. Just rough field stripping. I'll wrestle with it. But this one actually has, there was an automatic version too, a select fire version, the AVT-40. And that's the stock that's on this one, just from the markings you can tell. And the stocks for the automatic versions were a little bit more robust, which is good. If I was going to buy one, and I would be glad, because they're all refurbished after World War II. And so, you know, so lots of them have, you know, various parts and everything interchanged. And so actually having the stock this one has, I consider a plus. You can tell by the cutouts here, there's your safety. And if it was for an automatic, you had an extra groove on both sides, or you had a groove on both sides, one for the safety and one for the select fire positioning and everything. And so from what I've read, these were actually made out of harder wood and they were a little bit more robust. So cool, because one of the problems they had was with stock splitting and everything. All right, and the automatic versions didn't work out so well. I think they quit making them, and they prevented soldiers from even using the automatic selection, because a little bit like the M1 or M14, I guess, that's a powerful round to be cranking out full auto, you know, in a rifle that really is not all that heavy. You know, it's fairly slim. And if you fired full auto, you know the impact and the constant beating that you get. So it's better suited, I think, as semi-automatic. They should have talked to me back then. I would have clued them in on that early on. So, pretty cool gun, really historical, like I say. 1940, 1941, when the Soviets were invaded, they had originally planned to make this their battle rifle, just like our Garand. It was going to be the rifle, more so than the Mosin. And but when Germany invaded the Soviet Union, and I mean, it hit the fan, and they were caught, and they lost, like, I read hundreds of thousands of these things, but they lost thousands and thousands of these to Germany, who used them. It was funny because Finland and Germany actually used these, and then against you know, the Soviets, but because they liked them and studied them and used them for later designs of their own, like the G43 and everything. So a lot came from this particular rifle, and unfortunately the Soviets were not able to make enough of them and issue them like they wanted to, like they meant to. They had to drop back and punt and start making Mosins in bigger numbers, and so not as many of these were made as they had originally intended. I think about almost 2 million, 800,000. But so they're out there. There's a lot of them. You'll see them in shops and gun shows. And a very interesting design, just a good looking rifle, isn't it? Isn't that just a really clever, or not clever, but just a good looking rifle? John and I were remarking earlier what a good looking gun it is. Of course, I've got they didn't come with that, as you might have guessed, right? But that little extender is nice. Let me show you how it works. I'm not going to take it totally apart, but I think without taking 20 minutes, I can, if I remember here. Okay, a little tricky, we'll not hopefully lose any parts. Slide that cover up forward. And then, lift up on that. There we go. And then, let's see, pull this back and it kind of tilts out when you get back here at a certain point. It releases it. The bolt and the carrier. Main thing is to watch the spring. Yeah. Okay, rather long operation there. Okay. And then we've got the bolt. It's basically loose. Just have to jiggle it out. There we go. So you've got the bolt in there, in the carrier. Okay, pretty simple to take apart to clean from that standpoint. This reminds me of the SKS in a lot of ways, the bolt, how it works. And here you are, you got complete access to it, pretty simple. And the gas, it's of course gas operated. And I'll take this off here real quick. I'll show you the operating rod and everything looks up here. And you take the cleaning rod out. And of course, we're definitely clear. Take that out. And then there's a little pin here. We got one band on these. I think, maybe I read the SVT-38 had 2 bands. If I'm not mistaken, this has 1. Interesting design. Okay. This one has the older muzzle brake. As these were all refurbished, they end up with different muzzle brakes. This has a 6-hole muzzle brake, so it's an earlier design on the muzzle brake. And pull the cover off. And there's your voila, the system. There's your operating rod. Ooh, it's already hot. That's why I like to break them down before they get too hot. But you pull back on that, and then your gas piston's right here. See, that comes loose, and you just take it off. So take that loose, which I've done once to clean it already. And we'll do again after this to clean it. It's really not too big a problem. So we slip that back on. Well, I wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like on the inside there. Pretty cool design. With any military rifle, that's one of the essential, I don't know, parts of any design. You hope that it's not too difficult to disassemble and clean, especially at least field stripping. And as you know from most of the military rifles that you might have, you know, they're not all that hard to take apart. Okay. This band back on so we can shoot it some more. Put the strap back up, sling there. Okay, I have read from several places, and people have said, you know, that thing is kind of tricky to field strip or disassemble. And maybe a total disassembly is, but I haven't had too much trouble. It's like any other firearm. Sometimes you take it apart, you struggle, and other times you don't. Things go well. There's a little click that clicks in. I like that, the way that is. It does, instead of screwing in, there's a little button there you push. Okay, and then the bolt. The tricky part's the spring and getting it back in. A little risky, of course. I could lose it, and we would just have to grab the SKS and shoot it, or the bolt gun, right? Okay. Do it the smart way. What is the smart way? Let's see. Tilt it in. Bring it back. There you go. Got to do it. Yeah, I've got it backwards. Minor detail. I don't know why they wouldn't design that so it'd go in either way. You'd think they would. That's what I would have done. But you never know when you got an idiot like me trying to put it in backwards, or a left-handed person trying to do that, right? Okay, here's the tricky part. Yeah, kind of a grip on it. Put the pin or the springs back in here. So you think it's tricky doing it at home if you have one of these. Try doing it on camera. And you know you got a couple of people watching you, just hoping you're going to mess up, right? Just getting ready to laugh at you. Get a chance to make fun of you. Okay, now what did I discover was the best way here? Okay, let's get that in position. All right, Get a good grip on it. Put it on the end of my thumb. Push it up there. And it catches on the top edge of that. You can see there, maybe. If you got a weak thumb, that might not be an easy way to do it. Okay. I've got a strong thumb and a weak mind, so it works out great for me. Hey, success. Okay. Let's put this back on, because I think this actually was the original Soviet issue. And yeah, limb saber from the Soviet Union. Yeah, okay. All right, now we have another magazine here, so let's take a couple more shots. All right, now I shot it a couple of times, had for a few days, and it's done okay. A couple of hang-ups. But actually that was with a different, it was basically the same ammo. This has the little silver tips. I don't know, they don't seem to be tracers. I'm not sure what that's about, but I just bought that yesterday. And it's seemingly done better. Okay. I also was experiencing some difficulty when I was shooting at times. I don't know, it must have just been me. The trigger is kind of stiff, so I'm assuming that's what it was. I don't, because I think I know where to hold. But I was having some trouble. I'd get 2 or 3 right where I wanted them, and then one would be like way off. It's got to be me. Got to be me. Okay, yeah, there's a safety. I kind of like that safety, the way it's designed. Okay, well, let's see if we can put one on that cinder block over there. Got it all back together correctly. We'll find out. I should have said that. It hung up, of course. Nice. Okay, so now you're going to hang up on me, huh? That's the other magazine. I don't guess that'd make any difference. Nice. Oh boy. Seems right on. Let me try that plate again. Tell where to hit it. Too low. All right. Woo! I keep expecting it to kick a lot more, but it really isn't that bad. You know, in semi-automatic, of course, you have some of that recoil absorbed. When you load these, you're supposed to put like rim in front of the previous rim. It's like with an Enfield. It is kind of weird having a rim cartridge in a semi-automatic rifle to some extent. So you get that with the 303, the British 303. I know I've had some that could be what the problem was there. I may not have had those rims in front of one another, although I mean to load them that way. This is the magazine I just took out, so we'll keep in mind possibly the couple of issues I had, or just a couple of malfunctions previous to the video were with that mag. Who knows? I always suspect a magazine. Could be anything. Yeah, these like I say, the Soviets meant to issue this really in a widespread way, but they got caught up in war big time, and so they needed to get some firearms out there, not only to replace what they had lost, you know, to the Germans, but just to add to the number. So they went back to Plan B and started making as many Mosin bolt guns as they could. And we're still making these, but not in as big a number, because it took more time to make these and more involved. So they needed weapons. You know, they needed them. All right, let's try some of these close targets. Look at this big old round. Most of you are familiar with that, and there's a lot of that out there on the surplus market. I have to be careful how I speak, because you never know what's going to be in short supply next, do you? All right. Let's take advantage of the power here a little bit. of this round. Oh, very nice. Make short work of that, doesn't it? I love pink. Oh, there's a jug I almost forgot about. Wow, thing is loud, I'll say that. There is some blast. I think John will attest to that. It's a little bit like shooting the Scar. Is that a jug down there on the ground, or is that one? That one's been shot, hasn't it? That's why I just shot earlier. Okay. Pretty neat, pretty neat. I see a little piece of cinder block over there we might need to take out. Yeah, flip the top of it. Pretty cool, pretty cool. This, one way you can tell it's a refurbished gun, as most all of these are, is that plum colored bolt. Okay. And the electro pencil etchings of numbers, like serial numbers and things on it. You get those on the bolt. You've got them up under there on the bolt and the lower side of the bolt carrier, the trigger guard. So as they put them all back together, they just do that. And then again, the indicator on the stock, the A, and so you know a lot more about these than I do. Ouch! Even the sight's hot. I can't be a total expert on everything. I can't be an expert on anything, you know. But you know, it's just an interesting rifle. And to think that this was around early on. This is in a way a counterpart to the Garand, right? You got a 10-round magazine and semi-automatic fire. A very powerful round. They had some problems with them. They were again, they weren't as robust maybe as they needed to be. But when you think about it, that's why most militaries have gone to smaller cartridges and their select fire, you know, rifles and carbines and things. Whether you're talking about a AK or the M4s, all those sorts of rounds. But it just is it's punishing to have a serious round like that in full automatic fire, and even semi-automatic fire can be punishing, I guess, on the rifle. Let's shoot a couple more here. Yeah, we got a couple more loaded. All right. This ammo, as of today, in April, is still plentiful. As most of you know, it's one of the attractions to buying a Mosin is the ammo. It's out there, it's powerful, and it's generally available. Yeah, pretty cool safety. This magazine release is kind of interesting. It folds up out of the way like that. Isn't that interesting? Ouch! Not good if it's up there out of the way when you need it, but so I don't know if you're supposed to have it folded up when you shoot. I don't think you are. I like it there where I can get to it. All right, take a couple more. Now again, just a reminder that it is semi-automatic, so quite a bit different from the old Mosin. Oh, a pot, didn't see that. Smoking another pot. Let's go back over there and pop that red plate. I think I missed it too many times. Just need to hold up on it. Pretty cool. Try one more at that little bitty piece of cinder block. That's okay. Whew. That's a handful. I tell you, although it doesn't really kick all that much. I mean, it doesn't. It's a strange feeling rifle. I'm not sure I can compare that with anything I have fired a lot. You expect a lot of recoil out of it, and you do get a lot of blast, but it doesn't really hit your arm that hard. You don't have a feeling like, wow, that's really kicking, but you get a lot of blast back from it. And that was one of the things I've read the criticism of the fully automatic versions was just the blast, the recoil in full auto fire, as you can imagine, would be just extensive. And I don't know if the newer muzzle brakes were better. They had, the newer muzzle brakes had 4 holes. I think they were supposed to be a little bit better, but it's just a powerful round. If you fired that, you know, Mosin, you know what I'm talking about. So to put that in the semi-automatic, got some power to it. So I think for the most part, things I know about it, you know, that's about it. You know, your gas system I showed you, and you know, your magazine, 10-round magazines, pretty cool. The just the general operation of it feels good. It's a smooth bolt. And I don't know if you noticed, when I was shooting, I would find myself looking at the bolt, because it almost felt like it didn't pick up a round or something. The bolt doesn't come back. You don't get a real strong feel of it. It's just smooth shooting firearm, I have to say. Quite a collectible. Let's get that ugly thing off of it. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just, I need the length. Of course, in a rifle like this, it doesn't hurt to, you know, absorb some of the recoil too. But for the length, it's really nice. So that's a very interesting firearm. If you see one at a gun show, you see one in a shop somewhere, pretty distinctive looking. So hopefully you know a little bit more about it and can appreciate, you know, where this thing came from. You know, 1938, 1940, Soviet Union. And again, it was meant to be the battle rifle for the Soviets. Just the little thing called World War II got in the way. As can happen, right? And just didn't get as many of them made as they planned to. Now, the reason I had the SKS on the table and the AK was just because I just love to have them out, right? Was after World War II, these were just pretty much refurbished and stored, and we had the advent of the SKS and the AK, you know, right there, you know, and just a couple years later, and so they, as we know, took the place of this. So that's why the life beyond World War II was not very extensive, except maybe in some other random just countries and for specific uses. But the SKS and the AK-47 pretty much, you know, took the place of this. So anyway, pretty neat rifle. I'm glad to have an opportunity to fire it and take it apart and learn a little bit more about it. And hopefully you learned a little bit from just seeing me mess with it. Life is good.